Hi everyone, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs, and I'm here today with a part two of our easy uh, junk journal that we're doing. I don't remember what the exact title was, but um, this is what we were working on. I did add one thing to it. I added another little sunflower right here. Remember I told you that I probably would put something there because it was kind of bothering me, and I like things in threes, but I didn't really like another big one on there, so that is what I ended up doing. But that's all I've done to it since we worked on it. I'm sorry I didn't get this video out yesterday, but I had not a horrible, but just a very hectic, kind of crazy day. I lost my billfold. I still haven't found it. Okay. And I spent like 4.5, 5 hours looking for it. Then I had errands I had to run and some other things, and I just never ended up having time to even do the video, much less upload it and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this today, and probably will not have a fun Friday because, unless I can figure out something to do maybe Saturday, Sunday that I upload. So we shall see. But anyway, I am going to try and get this out. It may not go out until Saturday, not sure, but I will do the best I can. Anyways, guys, this is where we left off, other than this other little um, sunflower that I put in the corner, and that's made the same way that I did the others. And I think I showed you all the different sizes that I had, and I just inked it up, put it up there, and made a little center just like I did the other ones, and that's all I did. Okay. Now, we had talked about the cover, and I said I was probably going to add some pockets, and I wanted to show you. I took just some of the leftover denim that I used with the jeans and everything, and I just took it and I cut out a shape that I thought a pocket would look like. Okay. Um, and then I just did two of them. And on the inside, what I did is I put just some kind of cardstock, and I only do that whenever I'm using um, material. I tend to put some sort of cardstock or something on the inside just because I like it to not stretch and that kind of thing. And then I think it sticks to the page a little bit better, that kind of thing. Okay, so I have two of these, and I am going to glue them on the inside. Now, I did sew around them, and it will look like it's sewed in, and that's a lot of what we're going to do in this journal. Is if we put pockets and things in, we're not going to sew them in. We're going to maybe sew on them and then put them in. Now, everything that I sew on this journal is optional, and that's the reason I'm doing it that way, is that I want to show you what it looks like sewn, but I don't want it to serve a purpose other than how it looks, because I want to let you see that you have the option of just using glue. You do not have to sew anything. In fact, everything that I've sewn, you do not have to sew. Okay, you don't have to sew up here. You can simply use a good glue. You don't have to sew around here. That is totally just for looks, really. The sewing on here, it does keep this in place, but glue would do exactly the same thing. So everything that I have sewn so far, you don't have to sew, okay? So I want you to realize that those are all an option, but I'm not going to not sew because I do want people to see, the benefits of sewing. The other thing too is I have seen people talk about like the little handheld sewing things. I bought one of those from a garage sale once, and I will say this, that honestly, guys, it just wasn't worth it. I paid like $3, I think. And now I've seen them out there for like 20, 25, $30. And for that much money, for 25 to $30, you can find a used sewing machine on Facebook Marketplace, or you know, or just a used one that will work just fine because you're not looking for anything real fancy. Most of the time, I just use a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch. And the really old machines, they actually work really well. In fact, I had one, I gave it away. I kind of wish I'd have kept it because it would have been a good backup. But the person that got it, you know, I mean, she's using it, and that's great. And I guess if I want another one, I'll get another one. But it was an old Singer 1970s metal one, and it was really heavy duty. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am just putting my 3-in-1 glue on here, and I'm going to put this where I think I want to put my pocket, which is not going to be right quite at the bottom, but right here. I might want to move it over a tiny bit just because of the fact of I know where my remember I put those lines there so I could tell where my spine is. I want to make sure that this is not going to be going into where my spine's gonna be. Move it over a tiny bit just to make sure. Okay, and that's part of the reason why I mark it like that. And also, if you want to do two signatures, if you do the middle and then show each side, then you know that you could put one signature on this side and one on the other. Okay, we are just going to be doing one signature, so we're not going to be worried about that. But that is what you would do if you want more signatures, is you would basically mark where your spine is and then split it up to however many signatures you have. I marked each side the 1/2 inch simply because I wanted to know where. And what I'm doing now is I'm just taking the excess glue off. And it's not wanting to come off real good. I'm going to let that kind of go right there. And just kind of scrape it off. It's taking some of the Mod Podge off too. So I don't want to. I think I might just do a little bit more. It's doing that because I moved it over. Okay, there we go. All right, now what I'm going to do, put the other one on, and we are going to start going through our pages and deciding what we're going to put in, what we're not. And that's, that's a total decision that you have to make of what you think you like and what you don't like. And then I'm just going to give you an idea of the kind of things that you can put in. Again, remember we marked it right here. This Band-Aid is because I stabbed myself with my cutter bee scissors. So they're very sharp, guys, so watch out. Remember I had my line here, so we have a line here, so I know that I have to put this over here enough to where it's not going to interfere with my spine, okay? And I'm trying to, that is way low compared to the other one. It's not going to matter that much, but I do want to kind of get it, similar and semi-straight. So anyway, that is how I'm doing that. Press down, make sure it's on there. Okay, so yeah, I think I just sewed crooked. So it's kind of an optical illusion. All right, so that's going to be that. I'm going to let that dry while we're doing the next part, okay? And what we're going to do next is I have all these different things here. Let me move that out of the way. These are all the different things that, well, these are just the cutouts. We're not going to use those now. I have a big pile of things here. I'm going to show you what we're going to use in our journal. Okay, so I don't put more than 20 pages in a one signature journal. And the reason I do that is because I do not want it to be too bulky. What happens is the pages start sticking out. It's hard to sew in. And honestly, the best amount would really be about 15. But we will see. I'm going to see what we come up with here. Okay, these are the pages that, remember I told you I was going to print on both sides? So I did print on both sides. So I'm going to use that page because I think it's really pretty. Um, and as I'm showing you these, I'm going to go ahead and fold them in half. I've cut them down. Um, my HB Eco Tank does not print borderless, which is really a bummer, but I could, I could move it over and do that. But it doesn't bother me because I have a guillotine cutter and I just cut multiple pages very quickly and trim them off. And so, where did my bone folder go? So I'm folding these as I'm showing you the pages, okay? So that's one of the pages, and then I print it on the other side. And I don't know what order they're going to go in yet. I usually just get them ready, pick out, kind of, um, kind of just kind of skim through them and mix them up. And I don't, you know, I really don't put usually two pages that are the same in there. So this is what I kind of came up with. So I'm good with, All right. So that's a page. That's a page. All right. So that is all we're using here, guys. As far as the pages go, there's a few more down here. Hold on. Not using that one. Okay, I already folded that one. We have one more right over here. Okay, so here's the pages. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's what I came up with. And let's see. And I may take a few out. I have also printed on a piece of vellum. And this is one of the pages. And I just picked one that I thought would look good. And I usually do that only because I just like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. So I'll put something like that in there. Okay, so that is another page. And I haven't duplicated that page in here. I've just put that. It's going to be another one. So that's 8. I am going to put a couple pieces of coffee dyed paper in there. So that's 10 pages right there. All right, I have, and this is just the paper that you use when you're painting, to put, uh, what do you call it? Oh gosh, I can't think of it. You just use it when you paint, and you get it in a roll, like at Home Depot or whatever. Masking paper, and I have 2 pieces of that, so that is 12. I have a couple pieces of paper, of ledger paper, and this is vintage ledger paper that I have, and it's smaller. Let me open that up. It just seems to be. So that is, what did we say? Is that 14? I don't know. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14. I have, if I can find the other one, where did it go? Uh-oh, we're missing one. I'm going to use 2 of these, and I think what I'm going to do, that's 14. This is a sunflower, this is a scrapbook paper that I have, and I found this when I was looking through stuff. I forgot I had it, actually, so that's another thing. Look through your stuff. You never know what you may have. But this is a smaller piece. I like to have smaller pieces that I include. So I'm going to put a couple of those in there. I may not use both of them. This one has sunflowers. This one had butterflies on it. So I could put this in my trimmer, but because I can follow this line, I feel pretty confident it's going to be reasonably straight. So there we go. And then, let's see. So that gets us at 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now, we're not going to use that one. I will put something like this paper bag in there, but I think this bag's too tall. So I may have to get another one to use or not use one. I think I'm going to look and see if I can find another one. I have this envelope that I'm going to put in there, and that's because I will block that off and then we'll use this other side. So I'm going to put that in there. I'm going to put a couple doilies, but I'm going to put one round doily like this, and then I'm going to put a square one just to have something different. All right. I think there's actually more than one. Nope, there isn't. So that puts us at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And I'm going to get that paper bag, and that'll be 20. And that'll be it. That's all we're going to put in it because that's really the maximum amount that I would put in a one signature journal. If we want to add more pages, you could go, you know, 2 signatures, but with a 1-inch spine, what happens is after you decorate it, it'll get so bulky and big. And also, when you're adding your pages in, you really don't want to go more than 20. I mean, really, I think 15 is even better. But the reason being is that your pages are gonna be crooked and harder to get in and keep straight and that type of thing. Okay, so I don't think this will work. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I have one a smaller size, so I'm going to look. Unless I can see on the length if this will work. I think I have a smaller size, though. It would work, but maybe I'll use it. I'll see. Because I really want to do it like a page. So these envelopes are a good way to use them as a page, so let's see. I'll go ahead and use that. We'll go ahead and try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Now, I cut my pages to fit widthwise in there, but I don't care that some pages are taller than the other. In fact, I like that. I think that's kind of how when you do a junk journal, you want them to be different sizes, but the width kind of has to be no wider than your journal. In fact, you want it maybe 1/8 of an inch in. You don't want it wider than this, or basically, you really don't want it wider than that line. Remember, we figured out where our 1-inch spine is, and here's our line. I don't know if you can see that. You don't want it wider than that. And on this journal, that would be, what did we decide? It was 5.5. So you really want it probably 5.25 or 5, maybe a little bit, 1/8 longer than that, but you probably want them about 5.25. This is, yeah, see, these are 5.25. These are going to be a little bit less. Let's see what this is. So that's good. And of course, the height can't be taller than what you're. Okay, this one, this might be a little iffy. We may have to cut this down a little bit. Let's see. This will be right at the edge. Yeah, I think on the width on this, I'm going to cut that down a little bit, okay, to 5.25. All of these are okay, right? The vellum is okay. That's just another page. Let's see on this if we need to do that. Yeah, see, this is just a little bit too wide too. that's okay because we want our bag to be open. I'm worried about the height on this, not really the width. So that'll have to be cut. The rest of these things won't. Okay. So I will go ahead and get my cutter and let me move that over here. And we are going to go ahead and make them 5 1/4 so that we know that they fit in there. That's the one thing I really hate about this is that if you look at that where the bend is, but there's always something that's going to be like that. So that's 5 1/2. So I'm guessing 5 1/4 is right there. No, that doesn't seem right. It's got to be 5 1/4 is right there. Okay. And I'm just having this doubled, make it easier for myself. So that's the width that we need there. And I'm going to do this one. These are my coffee dyed papers. So, I've already cut them down a little bit. Now, I don't know on the height where we're at. So we'll do that. I'm going to do that in a minute. But this is my bag. And, okay, so I would be cutting one side of this anyway, the closed side. And I usually cut this side. So I will be keeping this at 5 1/4 also. And this way, okay, so that now is the width that I need it to fit in there. Now I just want to make sure on the height where we are. Okay, so we are I want to make sure you guys can see. We are about 8, almost 8 3/4. So you probably wanted 8 1/2. Just so it's not sticking out the top. And this one is about 8 3/4. So this is going to be tall. It's going to fit right in there, but I think it's going to be okay. And this one, I bet it's going to be about, yeah, it's about the same height, a little less. These two will be okay. I'm going to leave them. I could cut them to where they're all the same height. And, some people may want to do that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to worry about it. I honestly think they're going to be fine. Okay. And so here we go. I'm going to put that back up here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I've got all my papers cut to the size that I need. And I kind of divide them up. I divide them up into, okay, these are my papers that I printed. They're there. This is my vellum piece. I've got my coffee dyed papers right here, and I kind of keep my paper bag over there. I put my shorter pieces here, and then my kind of odd pieces, I'll probably keep them over here too. Okay, so then what I do is I kind of just decide how I want to put them in there, and I just try and alternate them a lot. So I will usually put, if I have a taller piece or bigger piece, I may put that on the outside, and then, oh, see, I probably cut that a little bit too short, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm going to take, well, that means I will put, and that's another thing too. When I staggered these in here, I have some that, and I might turn these inside out because I have a few of them. Like, see how this has like the writing part in it? So I'm going to put that on the outside, okay? And then this will be on the inside. Then I'll have a coffee dyed paper. Let's say I want to put, and this is where I stagger my pages. I will put, let's see. We could put one of these pages in there. These right here. So then we'll have a short one in there, okay? So now maybe I want to put another page, but my last one was a writing page. So I'm going to want to I'm going to look at this and see, do I want to do something very different? And maybe I go with this one. Okay, so, but I may want to go ahead and, let's see, does it matter which way? I guess it does. We'll put that in there. All right, and then I look at it and go, well, how does that look with that there? And I think it looks pretty good. So then maybe I want to put another blank type page, so I could take this green one. It would look good next to those sunflowers, and I might put that in there. And I'm not trying to get them in perfect. I'm just trying to right now decide, mix up my pages. I probably want to put another one. Since I have the most of these pages, that's what I have to put down there, because that's how I'm going to have to, that's what I'm adding in there. So I think now I'm going to put this page in there. I think I'm going to do that. I think that'll be cool. And then I think I want to put, actually, no, I think before I put that in, since there's a doily here, I want to put a doily in the middle of this. See these little doilies? I think I want to do that. So I'm going to put a square doily right there. And I'm going to put that right there. So that'll go there. And then I think I'm going to put that there. Maybe. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm going to put the vellum. I might put the vellum there. That might. Well, no. Oh, gosh. Here we go. I do this. You guys don't want to see. It takes me forever sometimes to decide. So I'm going to put that there. And then I think I'm going to put the vellum. Because that way it's not, clashing with the page underneath that. Okay. And when did we put that green one in there? We put that back there. So, we have not put any ledger pages in yet. So we will put that there. Okay. And that offers a different height. So, I think I want to put maybe this there. Now maybe I'll put that there, then that there. Then I will put one of these in there. And I already put that there. That's going to be later on. I'm going to put this right here. Okay, so, I think that's upside down. So this has some butterflies in it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put this right there. So I don't know if that has a right way or a wrong way. I'm going to go ahead and put it that way. All right, so that gives me that. And then I think I have another coffee dyed paper, and I think I want to put that in now. And then I think I want to put this envelope in there because we will be adding things to that. I will put in another page. Put that one in. And then I think I want to put, this would be pretty there. Right? And so we're going to put that in the middle there. Now, the one thing you've got to think about when you're doing these is, where is your middle of your signature going to be? And I'm going to put that there. Then I'm going to put that there. Okay, and then what I'm going to do with this is I am going to take this and I'm going to make it the middle of my signature. And I don't know if I want to do it. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll do this. Or I'll do that. I don't know. I really don't know what I want to do with that. Let me think. I might have another page that I want to do because I really love this one. I think I'm going to use that one. I'm going to switch this one out with another one. Go back here. And, you know, guys, when you do these, you have to realize that you are going to be moving these around if you're anything like me. Okay. I like this for the middle of my signature. So I am going to actually put this to where that opens up like that. Okay. So that will be my middle. All right. So this is how I'm going to put my pages in. This will be my entire journal right here. Okay. And then this will fit right in here. So, okay. Now you will see that even though we have these pages and they're kind of going out, and it will go back in a lot when you sew it, but the more pages you have, you see how this is coming like that? The more pages you have, the further it's going to go out. And there's really no way to totally avoid that. Uh, but the more pages you have, the more it's going to do that. When you tighten this up, it will get a lot tighter and there'll be just a little bit. But the more pages you have, the more of that you're going to have. And you can trim that off easily when you're done. I usually don't. I usually put, as long as it's inside my journal, I don't really care. Um, and a lot of times I'll put lace on my journal, or I'll put lace on the inside or on the front page, just so that you can't even see it when it's done. And I'll show you how I do that. And it's a great way to deal with it. I think it's better than trying to cut it after, if it bothers you. But you can do that. I mean, people do that. But I don't know that there's any way to avoid that, because what's happening is you can only put your pages in so tight, and after we tighten it up, it'll probably be about like that. Okay. And that to me is not something that I worry about, but some people it bothers. And, all I can tell you is you can trim it when you're done, but I don't. I usually put lace either on one of my front pages, or I will put it on the edge of my front cover, and you will never see that, and it looks fine. Okay. So anyway, this is what I think I'm going to use. So now what I do is I go back through and I look at all my pages and I decide, do I really like it? And this is, that was my first run. Now, see, I don't like that next to that. I think it doesn't look right for some reason. But I think if I turned it the other way, like this, okay, that it would probably look good. Okay, and I think it does look good that way. So there we go. Let's see, we got that. I think that looks really good there. You have to watch the really light things like your doilies and stuff. They move all over. So before we sew in our signatures, just make sure. I think that looks really good there. I like the bag. I love that. I think it looks good up against the bag. I think that looks good with it. I think that looks good there. I think that looks really good right there. And you can tell looking at it what you think is going to look right. If it's going to be, see, I think that looks good with that. I think that looks good there. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it that way. Now, if you notice, you have some pages that are taller than the other. That doesn't bother me at all, because as long as they fit within the journal, because you have pages all different heights in here, and that's why that does not. The width doesn't matter either to me, as long as they fit within the journal. Okay. So now that we've gotten that, you will need your wax thread, and I bought an entire kit on Amazon. I will see if I can remember. I will link it. I am so bad at doing that, or put the link in the description box, because I'm trying to figure out what color I want to use. And usually all I do is I worry about what it looks like in the inside, if I'm going to cover it on the if I'm going to cover my threads on the outside. So I'm just going to do this, I think, because I think it'll work pretty good. All right, let me get a needle out. And I have these long, needles that came with um, the kit that I bought, and it was a very inexpensive kit, guys. So I will put that out there. It came with different colors thread, needles, a couple of bone. It was really actually a pretty good price. So I will try very hard to remember that. If I don't, just let me know. But if you're a new person and you want to do this, you certainly don't have to have a lot of stuff to do it. I wonder if that would be better. No, I think I'm going to go ahead and use that. Okay, so this was not in the kit. This is what I bought separately because I use this off white all the time. But it's really a good. It's a good. I think it's a good deal. It was. I don't know that I bought quite a long time ago. Okay, so the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my journal is nice and, you know, lined up to where it's not crooked and I know where the middle is. Okay, and since this is a soft journal, I just kind of make sure I have it nice and creased so I can see the middle. Okay, then what I do, let's see if I have a piece of my board here. This is how I do it, is I will take just a piece of paper or cardstock to measure where I'm going to put my holes if I'm doing more than one signature. But here's the thing. When you're doing one signature, you really don't have to do that. I'm going to get my awl out. Let me show you. You don't have to do all that measuring because, here I got all my paper clips in here. I have some really big paper clips and I use those a lot of times when I'm doing this because to me it works better than just about anything else. You really do not have to do the measuring like you do when you have multiple signatures. You're basically just going to put your holes in your signature and then I just take my signature to my journal and punch the holes from it because then you know it's going to be perfect. But if you had more than one signature, you would basically mark where on your paper where you would put your holes. And I have other tutorials out there like that. I'll try and put that out there. But if I don't, look at my little golden books, look at my, easy beginner journals. It all works the same way if it has multiple signatures, okay? But that's what I would do. But because you only have one signature, and that's why we're doing it this way, so it is easy, you don't have to do that, okay? The thing you do need to do, though, this is the point when you want to make sure that all your papers are where you want them to be. Like, see how this one's smaller? What I do is I try and make sure that those papers are kind of in the middle. It doesn't matter if they're perfectly, but you're trying to line up. Okay, these two have to be the same because they're the same, right? But this doily, you want to make sure. See, I can tell right now this thing is kind of messed up, so I'm going to refold it probably. All right, and we've got that there. All right, and my doily is going right there, so I'm putting it over here, and I'm putting it right on the crease. And these things are the ones that move around all the time. They'll drive me nuts. Make sure it's on the crease. Make sure my next paper is lined up with that. Now this, I don't want it all the way down there. I want it kind of in the middle. If it goes all the way down there, not the end of the world. There's no rule that says it has to be like right in the middle, but that's kind of how I like to do it. This because it's a taller piece of paper. I'm going to take it and kind of split the difference on the top and the bottom. Okay. This one's shorter, so I'm going to kind of put it in the middle. Okay. This one I'm going to line up with the other two, so I'm going to put that back over here, make sure it's lined up. All right, yeah, I can tell. And I'm just lining these up with the ones that are before it. This I'm putting toward the middle. Okay. Move it down a little bit. This one, I mean, it does make it difficult when you have multiple, not difficult, but more difficult because you have different sizes, but that's kind of what makes it fun. Okay. And you really just, all you have to do with that is just kind of eyeball it and get it in the middle. See, now I can tell this is not split. I mean, I just kind of threw it in there. So I'm going to put that in there, make sure the crease is correct, and get that in there right. Okay. Going to do my next one. And I am just making sure that all these pages are getting in where that I want them to be. Okay. Do my next one. So that's kind of in the middle. This is in the middle of those two. Make sure it's on the crease. That's why you creased all your pages when you put them in there, okay? So now I'm going to make sure that my pages that are the right size. Now, the ones that are larger, that are just a tiny bit larger, I usually just take those and I'll go like this and get them all even on the bottom, okay? Because you're not going to really notice that difference, okay? Now go back through and make sure your other ones didn't move. And it doesn't matter that this is perfectly with the other one. It really doesn't, but I'm going to move that up a tiny bit. Sometimes when you tap it, the shorter ones move down. Okay, that's my last little walkthrough to make sure everybody's sitting where I want them. Okay. Make sure my papers are where I want them. There we go. All right. I think we're good. Yeah. Now see the doily, it moved. I'm telling you that I always, because they're so light, a lot of times that's what will happen. They'll kind of move around a lot. Okay. All right. I think we're good. All right, now what I do is I go toward the middle and I am going to push this down as far as I can to make sure that all of these papers are down. And I will take my big paper clip and I will go right to the edge right there. Then I go to the other side and I push it down as far as I can do it. And usually if you bend it, that gets it down. Basically, it'll push it in as much as possible by bending it. Okay, so that's kind of what I do when I fold it. So then that will go in here. Okay. Now see, I can tell we've got a little bit of room here, so I'm going to push it down a little, make sure it gets nice and tight. Okay. And I actually put them on all four. This one's kind of stuck in there. Always happens when you're doing a video that something like that gets all tangled up. Okay, there we go. I've gotten to where I usually may only put 2, but I would put 4 if you're new. And what that does is that keeps all of your papers together. Remember I told you when you get done, you're not going to see much of that anymore, okay? So what I would do at this point, the other thing always to make sure too is that your papers are all the right way because I don't know if I checked that. I think I did, but I'm not positive. Because it's really easy to put one in upside down. Because trust me, I have done that many, many times. And Not the end of the world. You just, undo your signature and do it again. But, it's kind of a pain. Okay, so they're all in there good. It's nice and tight. Um, I usually play with it after I get all four of them on there, make sure it gets in there nice and tight. And what I mean by tight is that you don't feel a lot of gap in your crease right here. And I just usually I fold it down, and the more you fold it down, the more it's gonna be tighter when you put it in there. Okay, so if you put your paper clips on when it's like this, it's gonna be a tighter fit. Okay, that's just how it works. Okay, so now that you've done that, you are gonna punch three holes in. Oh, here, this one is not on there, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. I didn't have the outside piece in there. Probably because when I re-put it in there, I didn't do it right. And so here you have your papers and you're ready to go. You're going to punch some holes in it. And because we only have one signature, we're going to do it this way. Okay, we are going to take our hole punch or punchy tool, whatever. And I do it this way. I usually go, and I'm eyeballing it. Okay, I will go in about 1.5 inches to 1 inch from the top. I'll go straight in the middle and then the same down here. Now, if you want to measure it exactly, you can. You can take your ruler and find the middle. Okay, that tells me this is the middle right here. Okay. And I mean, I usually never do that. Okay. Now, when I punch my hole, a lot of people use a cradle or they use, a friend of mine told me she got the binding tool. Um, I don't know. I think maybe on one signature that would be worth it. I have used it and I've used cradles, and honestly guys, I think this is easier. So I basically keep it folded, okay, just like this, okay? And I make sure you don't punch your hand because I've done it. I keep it folded. And the reason you do that is that it will keep your hole from going to the side. It will go straight through like that if you kind of keep it folded. Okay, so there you go. That's one hole gone. Okay, now what you can do is you can measure from the top how far in you want to go. Okay, let's say you want to go, oh, 1.5 inches. That's probably about right. Or 1 inch, really. I don't know. Let's see. Let's just do 1.5 inches. So that's right there. And I am just going to go and do the same thing I did, only I'm going 1.5 inches in. Okay. And what you'll see is if you keep it folded like that, it will go straight in. The reason for the cradle is to make sure that you're going directly, in the middle. Okay. And to me, by keeping it folded like that, I know it's going to do that. So I'm going to do another 1.5 inches from the top. And it does not have to be exact on this, because honestly, I usually just eyeball it. But this time I'm measuring just for your sake. Okay, so again, I'm keeping it folded. This is where you can punch your hand. If you put your finger right there, trust me. But I've got my all sitting in there. So see how they all just came right where they're supposed to be without a cradle. And if you have 2 or 3 signatures, you just do this exact same process however many times. That's all you do. So I don't know. I just think that whole thing to me seemed like it was more work than it was worth. So I don't know. I have one, but um, I don't know. Just don't really think it's worth it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to get my string ready. Well, actually, yeah, I think I'll do that. I'll get my string ready. What I do is I usually go, it depends if you're going to have little danglies coming out the middle, then you want to do your string longer. If you're just going to tie it off, then you don't need it that long. But I think I'm going to do danglies, and I'm not sure, not really sure if I'm going to put anything on them or not. But 1, 2, 3, if you're just going to tie it off. But I'm going to do some dangly things, so I may go 4. I may even go another one just for grins to make sure I have plenty. Okay. The other thing that I like to do, and this just helps me, and I still do it. I don't really need to do it as much anymore because I've done this enough. But I like to use a paper clip, and okay, this is how long I want to leave my dangly piece. So I am going to tie, this is how long I want my dangly piece to be. It's not going to stay that long. I'll cut it. But I just tie it one time on this paper clip like that. And I do that so this does not go all the way through. And you'll see. Take this. And this is a really long one, but I'm doing that so hopefully you guys can see. And I'm going to take that and... Oh, and that's another thing. Make sure that your cover is right side up because I have definitely put them in upside down. Make sure your papers are going the right way and make sure your cover's the right way. Okay, so now because we only have one signature, we've already kind of creased it to make sure it's in the middle. Do it again. Make sure everything sits good. We are going to just punch the holes right through, okay? And honestly, guys, you could just use your needle and not punch the holes, okay? But I'm going to punch the holes, and you shall see. So I have it in there, and I am just eyeballing it in there. I want to make sure that I have about 1/8 of an inch on top, 1/8 of an inch on the bottom, and as you can see, we've got a little room on each edge, okay? So I am going to go ahead, and I'm going to take this. Here's my middle hole. Most important thing is I like where my signature is sitting in the journal. Okay, and I'm going to take, there's my hole, and I'm going to just stick that right there, and I'm going to kind of close it because I want to make sure that it goes right through the back. Okay. There we go. So there it is. It's going right through. Okay, right where we creased it. Okay, so now that I've done that, I am going to take, and this is just, I only do it this way with one signature, okay? I am going to take this, because normally I would clip this in here and punch all my 3 holes. But I will take this, and I'm going to take my needle, and it's going to go straight through the back. I usually start with the middle. Okay? And it's 40. And see how my paper clip is keeping it from going all the way through? Okay. I did that because that kind of keeps it all together right now. And now I'm going to take my awl or my punchy thing. I have my hole right here on top. I hope you guys can see that. I'm going to do the same thing that I did in the middle. I'm going to punch my hole. Okay. All right. And I'm going to take that right where I punched it, and it should go right through. You're going to go through the back. This time you're not going in the middle. You're going through the back, and you're going through the outside hole that you just punched, and you're going to go right through the holes that you punched with your signature. See those holes? Remember that holes that we punched? It should go right through. It should be very easy. If you keep it folded, it goes through a lot easier than if it's laying flat. So anyway, so that goes through there, okay? Now we've gone through the middle out. Okay, we've gone from the outside in on the top, and you can go to the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter. You just have to go top or bottom and then go opposite. So don't worry about, oh, you got to go through the top first. No, you can go through the bottom first and then do the top, or you can go through the top or go through the bottom. It makes no difference because this journal doesn't know whether it's the top or the bottom. Okay, so now the last one, here's our hole right here. And we're going to take this. Make sure that you're getting it in the actual right on the crease, and then punch your hole. Make sure that's straight. Okay, it's right on the crease. And I'm going to put that right in the back. Okay, and this is why I said you could really just take your needle and punch the hole right through. You don't really even need to punch that last hole. You could just use your needle to do the hole. Okay, and then so now what I'm doing is I went from the top, I'm going all the way to the bottom. Now see how easy that just went right through, just like that. It really does go through easier if it's kind of folded, okay? So that goes there. Now, the last part, and this is the hardest, but it's not that difficult, is we have to go back through the middle, okay? And the way that I do that, here's your middle right here, is I kind of keep it folded, because if you lay it out, then the holes are moving around a little bit, okay? So I kind of keep it folded, and I will just take this and go right back through the hole. It's kind of folded, okay? Oh, it went through the wrong spot. That means that the hole moved around a little bit sometimes. Okay, now see, I'm going to show you this. So here's my signature, here's the needle. So sometimes you have to lift up your signature and go in, and here's the part that you want to be careful not to split the thread. Don't go through the thread that was there before. Let me do that again. It's not hitting the middle. Okay. And you basically are just going to kind of keep your signature folded, because that'll get you going right through the holes that you have already there. It is not going through the right spot. Hold on a minute, guys. This happens a lot, so, and it isn't hard. You just want to make sure that you're not splitting the other thread that's already in there. Not the end of the world if you do. You just pull it back out. But what you want to do, and I want to make sure that you guys can see this. Got the paper clip in the way. Let me pull that off. I'm going to pull the paper clip off so you guys can see. Okay. Is you do not want to go through the thread that's already there. This thread. You don't want to split that thread, because then you cannot tighten your signature. So we just took this and went through the back. That's the hole that it is. If you keep it kind of semi-closed, when you pull it through, it'll go through. Now, if for some reason it's not going through, pull it back out and just find that hole, okay? And pull up your signature a little bit and place it on there, and it'll go on there. And that's all I did, really, okay? Now, let me pull this off. I'm going to get these paper clips off because it makes it kind of... And I leave my whatever clamp I have or paper clips or whatever that are holding my journal together, I leave them on there until I'm done, because that keeps your papers from moving around. And when your papers move around, the holes move around, and then you've got holes all over the place that you're trying to get your needle through. So I leave them clamped together until I'm done. Then you just pull, this should just pull right off. You don't even have to untie it. Okay, so now what you have is you have your signature already sewn in, okay? You want to look at it, make sure it's where you want it before you tie it off, because if it's not the way you want it, no big deal. You just untie it, cut it, pull the strings out and start over. If you put it in upside down, which I have done, you just start over. Not a big deal, okay? Um, Even if you tie it in, I'm not saying it's the end of the world if you tie it in, but I just wait and check. Okay, so now what I do is I pull on this, make sure it's nice and tight, but to make sure it's really tight, I just take my strings and I loop them around this side, and then I loop this one around, and it goes the other direction. Okay, this went that way. I just loop it around the other way, and then all that does, okay, and then I twist it like this. It's giving you a little bit of leverage. See, I just kind of, it was that way, okay, and then I go like this, because then it gives you leverage, and then I just tie it, okay. I tie a knot. Usually I tie two. I mean, there. So here's our long, very long strings, which we won't leave that long. But here, that is our signature that we have sewn in. And if you look, remember how I told you how the pages would be? When you close this journal, there is really not much of all the way, there's not much of what do you call it? Difference between here and there. So, I mean, that to me is not enough that I would mess with it. But you can easily, if that bothers you, you could, take your scissors and just go like this and trim it. I don't know, maybe that's 1/8 of an inch at the top one. If that bothers you, it does not bother me. But one thing I do a lot on my journals is I tend to put lace or something right here on the edge, okay? And what that will do is that will hide the fact that these are, different, okay? But, I don't honestly think there's enough there to worry about. A lot of times I'll put lace right here, and maybe I'll put a few other pieces of lace in here. And that's probably what I'm going to do on this, because I don't really know if I want lace on the outside. I may do that and this. But once you do that, guys, you will not notice anything at all. So anyway, that is our signatures sewn in. And the only thing that I will do to the cover after this, and I'll do it with you really quickly, is as I said, here is where we sewed in our signatures. That does not look bad, but if you want to, and I remember I was going to put that lace on the outside. Well, I found another one that's not as wide, and I think it will cover this just fine. I'm thinking I'm going to just put that on there like that. Okay? I think that's cute. I have another one that's a little wider. Let me see. I don't know if and this is just for looks, guys, really. It just serves no purpose other than that. Well, maybe I'll put the wider one. Maybe it'll look a little bit cuter. Because I think we've got room, All right, let's try that and see. I'm going to cut this longer than I need it. I usually cut it always longer. And all I do is, let me open this up toward the middle. And honestly, guys, sewing in a signature is not hard. It's a little fiddly sometimes getting in the middle part, but all you got to do is lift up your pages, and you can put the needle right on it, and it'll go right on. When I sewed this, I didn't sew it right in the middle, so and I wasn't worried about that because I knew that I was going to cover it, so. I just did it really to hold the tie in there, and to put to make sure the middle was closed, because we've got pockets. And if anywhere that I did sewing, if you don't want to sew it, you just glue it. That's all you would do differently, okay? So I'm putting that on there. I'm going to put the little roughly side on here. Let's see if I can get that to where it doesn't. I can pick those up. I'm not worried about that if it goes under there a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. Move that up a little. It's crooked, so I'm going to have to move it up higher and then cut it, I think. Okay. Let me get some wipes, and that will keep the extra glue off of there. Get another one. It's kind of saturated. I just lift up the whole thing. Okay. And this ribbon has kind of been bunched up, so it's kind of crooked anyway. So, and it does stretch. Material stretches, ribbon stretches, so it's not going to be perfect. Okay, I really want that to be on the outside of there. Okay. I did want that to go all the way to the top. I don't want it to. All right, and if I have to put some more on in a minute, I will. So let me cut that off. Okay, so that is going to be what goes right there. I think that'll look really cute. I think that's cute. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to put a little bit more glue. I'm going to let that dry first, and then I'll go back in and deal with that, okay? But, so that is our cover, and that is the bones of our journal, and we are done, other than decorating the inside of the journal, and we will do that next time. We're going to use all the elements that came with the kit, and we're going to make a few other extra things. Then I'm going to also show you, what we will do with the envelope that we put in there, some of the cards. But this is a very good basic journal, and let's see, if we put in 20 pages, so the way it works is it's 20 on one side, 20 on the other, so that gives you a total of 40 pages. So with another 40 pages. So this isn't going to be an 80-page journal. I mean, this counts as a page, and this counts as a page, and then the other side of it counts as a page, and then that counts as a page. So that's how you get 4 pages out of one piece of paper. So it's 80 pages, and it'll be really cute. And honestly, guys, it's not that tough. It's just paper. You do not have to use a digital. Someone asked me about if you don't have a printer, can you print these? And yeah, you can download the file. You just go to Etsy. It's super easy, guys. They're either going to be usually in a zip file or a PDF. And even if you're not real sure how to do that, basically you do it and they send you a message and you push download, so it'll be downloaded. And at that point, all you have to do is either take your computer or a memory disk and or memory card and just take it or that and just take that to your printer or your printing place and they'll print it for you. And it's kind of might be cheaper that way. I have the HP Eco Tank, and so it doesn't cost me very much anymore. But when I was printing on my other printers, it got to be really expensive. So it may be cheaper to do that. I don't know. I've never priced it out and done it that way. I have had things printed at the printer before. It was not a big deal. So you can definitely do that. And they'll help you, if you have problems with it. So that's something to think about if you want to do digitals and you don't have a printer. I bought my Eco printer on sale. It was last year's model, and I got it for a really good price. I mean, really good price. Um, Otherwise, I don't know. Well, it has paid for itself already. It really has. Just, and I didn't pay much for it, but I mean, I think even at the higher price, it would be worth it. But if you're going to be doing a lot, okay, if you're not, just print it off on your regular printer. Okay, so that's it, guys. That's all I'm going to do on this today. And then the next time we will take our cute little journal that we've made already and we will just fill it up. We'll put things in it. We'll put pockets on it. We'll do little flips. We'll do all kinds of cute things. And it'll be ready to go. Okay? So take care, and I'll see you next time.